Who is ringing our doorbell? Open up. Update. Don't make it bold. Update. Dun dun bum bum dum bum bum. Hey Renee, let me know how the sound is. I gotta adjust some stuff here. Let's get that microphone where it's supposed to be. Dun, dun, dun. That's about where I'm gonna work today. Let's see. More or less straight on here. Sounds good. Yay. Phew. Hey Danny. Hey Renee. Let's see. Renee, sounds good. Yay. Hi Lynn. How are you? Go through here and make sure I got that page set properly. Boy, I better download my materials for today. I haven't got to that. Download ukulele. Go to the cloud. Oops, gotta log in. Let's see. Okay, I think this is looking good, right? Everybody's gonna be able to get in and find us. There we are. Yay! We're looking. Geez, first time I've had to just. We must be making progress. I'm able to just actually log in and do things now. Hey, Laurel. Let's see. Hi, Diane. Got in the first try. I know, I got in the first try. So between the two of us, we are becoming tech gurus, aren't we? That's very exciting. All right, so let's see. Now I got to go back to the cloud. I'm going to try to get into my songs here. Let's see, who else is logged in? Hey, Leslie. Great audio and video. Well, except for the fact that from here to here, everything looks great. I am in good shape. Let's see. Hey, Lindy. Good to see you. Mike, logging in. Mike, we're going to get together next week, hopefully. Hey, Ed. Yo, yo. Hi, Fran. Happy Wednesday to you. F major does look hard. That's because it is hard, Kestrel. You're going to be just fine. We're going to make sure. We'll make sure everybody is dynamite. Besides that, I gotta keep you guys working on something. I spend all this time putting this stuff together, and then you're like knocking it out, and I gotta find something to make it hard enough to keep you busy for the half an afternoon. Give me just a sec, guys. I did not download You Are My Sunshine, and of course, that's going to be our big event for today. Okay. Okay. And, oh, I guess I did have them both written downloaded. Huh. All right. Fine. So we're doing Don't Fence Me In and You Are My Sunshine, right? How is it possible that I already have them downloaded? All right, let's see here. Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah, Wednesday. Okay, good. All right, I think we're going to be fine. Let's see. Who else lying? Hey, Dwayne. Welcome. Vicky in from Bozeman, Montana. Amber. Oh my gosh. How exciting, Amber. First lesson in a month. Big frowny face. Amber is one of my local students here, and she is absolutely wonderful to work with. And I am delighted you're here, Amber. Hopefully, Amber, you've been getting my emails. Do I have you on the main email list? Sometimes my private students don't end up on the main email list, and so hopefully you're getting them. I don't know. Hopefully, let's see. Kathy, sounding good. Yay. Tanya, in from North Carolina. Lovely. Mike and Burke. Burke, is Mike sitting next to you? Let's see. I got to double check. I got everything correct on here. So the two songs we're doing. Oh Lord, my brain. Let's see. Don't Fence Me In and You Are My Sunshine. Why are those not coming up? ABC. I guess I downloaded them and then didn't open them up. That's where that happened there. Let's see. Yay. Let's see. Yes, I get the emails. I just haven't done anything. Yeah, I know, right? That's how it works. Glad you're here, Amber. Delighted. That makes me very happy. Let's see. Who else is coming in? Lanny, good afternoon. Come on in. I'm going to keep pretending that Lanny is in Hawaii, even though I know he's not. Let's see. We need a Hawaiian to keep us straight. Let's see. Edward is in from Greenwich, not Greenwich Village, Greenwood Village. Jerry, hello, coming in from Arvada. We even let Arvadans in. That's how loose our standards are. Let's see. Christine, took a while to get you in, but looking good and sounding good. Awesome. I wonder why it's taken a while. That's interesting. It shouldn't. So Don't Fence Me In is today. And let's see. Mel has shown up. Good job, Mel. Mel, you've been pretty consistent, man. Good for you. Really delighted. Hey, Chris has been knocking it out too. That's exciting. Hey, Deborah, how are you? Call Cynthia Lynn. Yeah. Honestly, you should be calling Cynthia Lynn. Seriously, what are you doing hanging out with me? Do you know, it's interesting because I don't stay up as much on the ukulele community as I should anymore. Not necessarily out of any sort of contemptuousness. I'm busy doing what I'm doing, and it's different than what the rest of the ukulele community does. And so I just don't end up spending a lot of time getting to know these players. And Cynthia Lynn's name started popping up everywhere all of a sudden. I'm like, maybe I better get to know who this person is. And then it turns out that we had a couple of fellows move into the building who actually lived in San Francisco, and one of them was taking private lessons from Cynthia Lynn. So this sort of convergence of all Cynthia Lynn all of the time happened all at once, and now I hear a lot. Honestly, I still haven't looked in on any of her videos, but I'm guessing she must be doing something right. She's gotten pretty popular. All right, let's see. Who else am I missing today? Caitlin logging in. Caitlin's a new mom. She's trying to juggle life and ukulele at the same time. Let's see. Hey, Bruce, welcome in from Arizona. Jackie, come on in. Oh, yeah, today's Earth Day, right? Yeah, excellent. That's where we're all staying inside. That seems to be the best thing to do is stay inside and stop polluting the planet. Now, the last thing I read on environmental stuff was really cheery. It was like, it's not really about fixing the environment at this point. It's planning for the end of the world. And I thought, even though he's probably right, I don't want to think about that right now. All right, let's see. Last hellos and then we'll get started. Let's see. Deborah feels awesome. Alan is in for it today. Hello, Alan. He's logging in from, where do you live now, Alan? Are you still out there in... out on the high plains? God darn it. Why is my brain not working? What's the name of that town you live in, Alan? Patty, welcome in. Jerry, good to see you again. All right, guys, so we're at 40 players. That's enough, right? If you get two together, you got plenty. We're going to do, let me put on my thing. I haven't been cutting off my YouTube lessons yet, so I got a whole bunch that need to be cut off. I also feel like the lighting is super weird, so let me do one thing on this. Well, I like to try to get a light on the ukulele and then a little less light on my face. How about that? Let's see. That's maybe a tiny bit better. Probably a lot of work for nothing. Yeah, that's what you got. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Linda in from Pueblo. Nice to see you. Good. Judy. Hello. Judy from Florida. And there's a Judy in did we decide Montana was the other Judy? And Susan, welcome in. Glad you're here. So exciting. All right. So my name is Gary. I'm a ukulele teacher in Denver, and I do instrumental ukulele. Those of you who are new coming in, maybe your first time logging in, go ahead and go to jollyrogerukulele.com. On the front page is all of the lessons we've been working on. On the archive page is all of the lessons that we've done over the past month. And then on the ukulele page, everything that's basically when you're new to instrumental ukulele is in order there. I'm messing around as time goes along, updating stuff and moving them around and trying to get it where it's easier and easier for you to come in at any point, get comfy and play with us. And guys, a couple of a couple of just paperwork type items. Number one, at least here in Denver, they're going to start loosening restrictions. I don't know what that means for me in particular. I'm intending to go all through the next couple of weeks doing exactly what we're doing. So let me know. My thoughts are I would like to do a Mozart week. I'd like to do a Beatles week, and I'd like to do a John Denver week. Those are the three things that are sort of floating around in my noggin at the moment that I think that is probably where I'm going to go next. But on jollyrogerukulele.com is my email address, GaryUgert@yahoo.com. Send me an email. Let me know what you're thinking about, what's working for you, what's not working for you, what I can do. As they start to loosen restrictions, I think that it's way premature, but I also know that a lot of you guys need to get back to work. Let me know what's going to be working for you and what's not going to be working for you. Time slot wise, it's floating around in my head to move this to 1 in the afternoons instead of 4:30, but that has definitely not been decided. So when you toss me an email, let me know about the time slots that are working for you. And looking at the number of viewers on the channel and who's logging in and who's not, I'm just trying to determine when's going to be a good time to just keep you going. Those of you guys who live in Denver, you can get a hold of me just about any time. But those of you who are out of town, I'm looking for time slots that make the most sense for you. So we'll be doing that. Also, tomorrow we were supposed to do 2 John Denver songs, but in looking at my John Denver stuff, I was like, man, I got a lot of good stuff here. So I would like to take it to its own week. So I'm going to try tonight to get 2 other cowboy tunes put up there in place of the John Denver songs we were going to do. And if I'm successful, that's awesome. If not, we will play through the stuff from the previous week in preparation for Friday's concert. So let's see how much I get done tonight and get posted. And so check the website sometime tomorrow morning and see how we're doing. How I'm doing trying to keep up. I went to the office today and just cleaned, and so I didn't get my real work done. Kat, welcome in. Judy, it's Judy from Florida. I should know that. All right, and let's see what else do we got going on here. It's too early. I will be here anytime. Yeah, Linda, I don't know, man. When they said we're going to open up the city next week, with lift some restrictions, which basically means people are going to go crazy. It's going to be insane around here. Let's see, what else have I been thinking about? Slightly prefer 1 p.m. Yeah, right. Rolling Stones. I do have a Rolling Stones book. Maybe I've never done any Rolling Stones. Let's give it that might be fun to do. And so those of you from out of town, don't tell the people here in town. In town, I make fun of the Beatles all of the time. Like, that's my thing. Like, I'm going to make fun of the Beatles. And what happens is if you're somebody who is between about the age of 62 and 72, you go batshit nuts. You go crazy when somebody makes fun of the Beatles. It's not okay. And so it's one of those really dumb things I do. So they're an awesome band, and there's tons and tons of really beautiful stuff we can work on. So I have one student, Ed, and sometimes Ed logs in here, I think. I don't know if he does or not, who lives up in the mountains, and he's been doing baritone ukulele and almost all Beatles stuff for a long time. So I have all this really nice stuff he's been playing and that I've never turned out for ukulele. So it might be fun to work on some of that. Being just slightly younger than the Beatles group, I don't really care about them that much. They're nice and they're fine and they have some beautiful stuff. And so we might work on that. Let's see. Let's see. PPM. Danny, I don't know what PPM means. Leaving on jet plane. Yep. Leslie, 1 o'clock would be 3 p.m. here. Yeah, I know, right? Still good. Okay, all right. So let's get it up and running. We're working on the key of F today, and let's run through the chords and make sure that things are feeling pretty good. How funny! I have Peter, Paul, and Mary. Okay, that's PPM. I actually have a Peter, Paul, and Mary book too. All right, let's go. F chord, of course. Index finger here and middle finger up there. That's your first chord. And when you're new, this is one of our homeland important things. If you're on guitar, F is the worst chord in the history of the world. And for you guys, B flat's the worst chord in the history of the world, right? And it turns out they're exactly the same chord on both instruments. But F is here. Next chord in the song is a D minor. Don't lift up your F, just add your ring finger and then you get a nice D minor. Okay, right there. You do have a B flat sitting in measure 6. I like you to try doing a full bar within middle and ring, but if you only do a partial bar, that's okay too, right? So one of those things is going to make sense for you. This, and then accept the fact when you play a B flat that it sounds like this. Right? It sounds terrible. It's going to sound terrible. One day you'll fix it, but in the meantime, let your B flat be crummy, and then we'll move on. Measure 7. Notice you're holding that B flat in measure 6. Don't lift it up. Just slide up 2 in measure 7, and you'll get that C chord. Those of you who've been around a while are like, yep, that's how you make another C chord. Those of you who are newer are like, what? This is C chord. I don't want any other C chords. This is the greatest chord ever. And you're right. This is the greatest chord ever. But this is also a C chord, and we're going to use that one in this particular tune instead, or at least in this moment in this tune. Those of you who are musicians and who have prior training either on whatever other instrument and you have standard notation, quizzically and rather amusingly, the notation for this C chord and the notation for this C chord are identical, and so that's where standard notation fails you. Okay, so when you have fretted instruments, especially reentrant tuning, the notes end up all crazy on the staff, and so don't think standard notation is all that. It can also fail you sometimes. Let's see. Hi Arlo. Hi John. Let's see. Next chord's coming up. We already did all of those chords. Okay. Now, here's where things get interesting. This is a new piece of information for some of you, and some of you've been doing this a while. Measure 17. Slide down there. Looks scary, right? And Kestrel is absolutely right. Looks scary. But what you're going to do is you're going to put a bar on 5. Okay? And then your ring finger is going to go up there on the top on 7. So bar, ring finger. Okay? They'll make sure you leave your middle finger hanging out because it's going to have a job. We're going to do 4 beats of that. Then we're going to add on our middle finger right on that 2nd string, 6th fret. Okay, so it looks scary on the paper, but it's just, this is the shape, and then this is, and this. And we're going to put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off. Okay, so it looks super weird on the paper, but that's all we're doing is just getting this initial shape on, and then moving our middle finger up and down all the way through measure 22. Okay, and do notice when you're at measure 22 and you've got this B flat shape on here. On measure 23 on the next page, you're going to have to jump down and grab that C chord. And there is exactly why it is better, if you can, to do that type of shape with a full bar. Because when you slide back, then you just have to raise your middle finger up. That's why this bar teaching, I'm not passionate about it, but I do like people to try it using a full bar instead of a partial bar. Because when you get into your additional bar chords, you got this, slide back, and then you only have to move your middle finger. And so this is a superior way to do bar chords. However, it's not necessarily the easiest or the first thought when you're playing ukulele. And so just know, this is what I want you to do. This is what you may end up doing. And both of those are okay, but just be thinking long-term about teaching yourself to play with a full bar. And then as you get into these more complicated chord shapes, you're just already in preset position. I noticed Arlo had logged in. Arlo is a bar chord expert on guitar, and just watching him play over the years, he's really, pretty consistent about, hey man, I'm going to play with this full bar most of the time, not all the time, but he's, it just gives you a whole lot of horsepower to move your chords up and down and to switch them out to other forms very quickly if you're using a full bar. All right, long talk about bars. Let's move on. Next page, you got that. Whoops, where did I go? What did I do here? Oh, electronics, don't you love us? Come back here. Hold on. Go away. Let's go to the next page. How come I won't go to the next page? We're gonna have to quit ukulele and go into something else. There we go. All right, hold on. Like now it jumped all the way back. All right, ukulele. Sorry guys, trying to be all electronic these days, and it's not anywhere near as good as just using paper. All right, and then next page. All right, so when we get to measure 24, you are going to go onto your F chord, but notice those wigglies. Now we're going to strum down. Okay, so that's what those wigglies are about, is strumming down. The rest of all of page 1, you're going to have plucked it with 4 fingers, bump, 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 or sometimes 3 fingers, I think. But be thinking plucks on the first page. Then when you get to those wigglies there at measure 24, those are called glissandos. Okay, just that's the shape, that's the pattern you want to use to attack it. Measures 25 through 27 are just some note, just a plain old melody line there, and so probably index, middle, and ring are going to suit you pretty well. Do notice at measure 27, if you happen to be holding a D minor shape, you would be holding down every single note inside of that measure, so that's kind of fun. C7 right there, that's that shape right there, and again, nice strum down. A little bit more melody on measures 29 and 30. Also notice measure 30, if you're holding a B flat, you'll have all of your notes held down, so you can play that entire measure that way. And then at 32, you've been strumming all these other chords. Now at 32, we go back to plucking. Okay, measure 32, we're going to hit a repeat. We're going to go back to the top of the song. And then we're going to play the whole song the second time through. Just blast your way right on through 32. And then from 31 to the bottom, again, grab the chord shape, and then you're just going to pluck out whatever pattern it happens to tell you in the tablature, and it'll end up sounding pretty nice. Let me peek at a few questions before we get started. Christine, anytime is fine. Okay, James Taylor. James Taylor, that's another awesome idea. Let's see. John Denver's great. So glad these lessons are available after the live sessions as my YouTube keeps going in and out. Yeah. I can tell you, I am utterly delighted that these just magically save onto YouTube. I haven't been back through them to double check quality on any of them. And of course, as you know, sometimes this is a train wreck with either my playing or the technology behind it. I'm just leaving it up there. What the heck? And those of you guys who weren't able to attend live, just know that the sessions are there. I do get lots and lots of emails from people who have looked at it as a video instead of as a live performance. And hopefully you can get some. Hopefully you don't need to plan your whole life around my schedule, right? That's weird. All right, we're going to play from the top. We're going to play all the way to the bottom. When we hit measure, 32, we're going to go back to the top. I'm going to find my little foot pedal here and see if I can't get that going so that we can have smoother transitions. So far, it hasn't been working out in my favor at all, this little foot pedal, but we'll see what happens. All right, so let's get started on page 1. Grab your F chord. Remember, you're going to grab your claw shape. Okay, this is I think it was Dwayne I was talking today. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Notice that they're at about a 45-degree angle to one another. And when I hold them up like this is kind of what you're looking at. Thumb, index, middle, ring. Try not to get them all straight in a line, because then they don't have anywhere to go. You want to make sure they're like this. Pinky's never going to do anything. As far as I see no reason to ever use your right hand pinky other than occasionally to hold onto your ukulele. And that's what you're looking at. When you're plucking, try to avoid having this do much activity. We don't want this jumping up and down, or we want to have it jumping up and down to a minimal extent. Right, it's really coming from the knuckles. That's what we are working on. Okay, now let me do one last thing with my little doodad here, and then we'll be ready to go. It was just working fine, and then it freaked out, so hold on. Turn on. Oh, technology. Remember when they told us life would be easier if we had it? And now we have it, and it turns out it's not easier. Oh, well, it is probably easier. We have a pretty sweet life. All right, let's get going. From the top, 1, 2, 3, 4. Plunk, thumb, index, middle, plunk, plunk, D minor, plunk, thumb, index, middle, plunk, plunk, B flat, plunk, thumb, index, middle, plunk, plunk, slide up, plunk, middle, index, plunk, 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 and middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, D minor, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, B flat, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, slide up, plunk, middle, index, thumb, plunk, plunk, bar chord on 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, add your middle, 1, 2, 3, lose your middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, slide back, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, middle melody. Pluck, pluck, pluck to the top. Measure 3. Measure 5. Slide up. Five. Get ready to slide back and go. There we go. Key of F major is a very common key in ukulele, and very uncommon in some of the other instruments. Very normal in piano, very uncommon in guitar. But on ukulele, it's actually pretty nice, except that you do have to face B flat, and you're going to end up having to face B flat anyway. So just work on it. You get 2 different B flats in this song. You get your usual B flat, bar, middle, and ring, or if you do half a bar, middle and ring. Okay, the other B flat is the 1 on 5, and then your F shape right in front of that. Okay, again, think about it this way: F chord is here, slide it up 1, you have a G chord, or you have a G sharp. You have to slide it up 2, and you get a G chord. Okay, slide it up to 4. That is, come on, Gary, get your head on. That's an A chord. Okay, so you have this A chord, but you also have on 4 with the F shape, you get an A chord, and then on 5 it's a B flat or A sharp. Okay, and you hardly ever run into A sharps in ukulele, and so those are really nifty ways to advance your playing as a ukulele player is get this set of chords under your belt, because I've got all of them mixed in here, and I think will end up making you just feel more confident. What I like to recommend for those of you who are going to hang around and really learn to play ukulele on a high level instrumentally is grab these arpeggios and use those as your daily warm-up. So you wake up and you go have your coffee and you're like, all right, I gotta go to my ukulele studio, which you have outfitted with posters of Jake, and you have a big poster of Hawaii, and one of Israel, and one of how many of you know George Formby? You got your banjolele on right there, and over in the corner you got a plant, and your cat hangs out in there. You got your ukulele, it's set up ready to roll. You got your cheap one and your good one, and leave the cheap one out, because then you'll play it more. One chair, music studio, computer completely dedicated to watching Gary. And then when you sit down, use this as your warm-up, right? And so that you're feeling like, hey, I got my fingers worked out, I got all this, and just work your way through that book. I think that book, writing that book, made me a great ukulele player. And I'm pretty sure, as I watch my more advanced students work their way through the book, that it really does work with just getting you comfortable with all of that. And I have seen 2 or 3 students who are really fine musicians. Like, they really brought a lot of themselves to those pieces and turned them into stuff that was way better than what I actually wrote, just by playing what's on the paper. And so I do think you could do yourself a lot of good by playing that quite a bit. Okay. All right. Let's see. Motown, Celtic. Heck yeah. Agree. And one of Gary. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Now, let's go. By the way, total aside, years ago, I talked about songwriting a few days ago. I like to talk about songwriting a lot because I want to kind of push you in that direction eventually. Years ago, I wrote a zombie cheerleader musical, and it's what you do when you don't have enough to do. And one of the songs was called Necrophilia, because it turns out if you are a zombie and you're dead and you fall in love. Okay, so that was also, I wanted to write a 2-chord song. Dun, dun, da, da, da. Yeah, so anyway, moving on. Don't Fence Me In. Let's play Don't Fence Me In. That's your next tune on your list. All right, so in terms of difficulty, the previous song had much more difficult chords in it. So those of you who are newer and working your way up the food chain know that key of F major, there's a lot of tough chords in here. Don't Fence Me In, less difficult chords, but probably a very much more difficult song in other ways. And so let's talk about some of the stuff that we got to be aware of. Okay, first thing is, this song is filled up with partial triplets. Okay, and when we talk about partial triplets, you're squeezing in 3 notes in the space of 2. But in this case, they're not always 3 notes. Sometimes I'll put a quarter note and an 1/8 note and then squish those into a triplet. And so it's hard, almost impossible, to count this correctly. So you really do want to hear it. You really want to spend a little bit of time listening to those MP3s. I post those on the website on purpose. When I first started playing, there was no ukulele anything out there. And so I would find a song that was, find the paperwork from Tin Pan Alley or whatever. Then I'd go listen to 27 videos. None of them matched the paperwork. And then I had to kind of work it out myself. And so that's what I don't want you guys to have to deal with. I want you to be able to look at the piece of sheet music and listen to the MP3 on the website, and they are exactly the same thing. And so what I would do, most people, I'm probably making a huge assumption here, that lots of you guys probably know the tune and don't really need to go listen to it, but you probably should, because anytime that you see my arrangement, it will be somewhat different than the one that you've been listening to in your head probably. And so I like you to look at the MP3, push play, look at your sheet music, and just listen to it a few times so you kind of know what you're doing. Then when you get to measure 2 and you see, oh, give me land, lots of land underneath the starry skies, you'll know that that's what's going on. And those triplets that are sitting there look super scary and weird. I'm going to ignore them. I'm just going to hear the tune inside my head and play it that way. Oh, give me land, lots of land underneath the starry skies. Don't fence me in, let me ride. Okay, so that way I'm not counting that in my head. I'm just hearing the tune, and it makes it a little more playable, I think. All right, so let's talk about, so that's the triplets. That's in measures 2 and 3. You see those, the 3 underneath the brackets, and those, they're telling you there's 3 notes smashed into the space of 2, but unfortunately one of those notes is twice as long as the other, so there's really 2 notes smashed into the space of 2, but in a smaller spacing, okay? So that's the first thing that I would pay attention to in terms of rhythmic challenges, and let yourself be open and bold and brave when you're going through that. Talk about a couple of chords. Those, most of you guys are when you're tackling something like this, you're like, okay, are my chords up to shape? And again, as we get to these higher level, more complicated songs, the chords in the tough uke line may look slightly different or completely different in some cases to the chord that's in the chords and lyrics line. Okay, chords and lyric line is meant for you to strum and sing. That's what it's for. And lots of you guys are beautiful singers, probably about 3 of you, and the other 47 of you shouldn't be singing. And so you still want to be able to strum along when you run into a great singer. My friend Amber, who logged in today, is a beautiful singer. And so I just, when we have lessons, I just like to strum and let her do all the work. Okay. So to wit, when you go down to measure 8, you'll see that you've got a bar chord with your pinky on 5. Don't fence me in. Okay, that's the motion you're going to make. But the chord up there, it says just play a C7 all the way through. So why in the heck is my pinky here? Well, of course, the melody has taken charge of your chord. You're still playing a D7, but the melody is sort of wiping out the D7thness of it on ukulele. It wouldn't do that on like a piano. You could have a D7 in this hand and still play the melody correctly. But on ukulele, we have to make those compromises because we just, you know, we have, and all fretted instruments, you end up making that compromise. It's not a weakness with this instrument. So just be aware of that. Same thing happens at measure 13. The chord is a C chord. Hi, Gail. Glad you're here. But you're not going to play 003 at measure 13. You're going to play 007. Okay, and there's that. And I noticed, what's his name? James Hill posted a video today where he's singing a song, and his chords are, you know, what are relatively basic chords, but he's got them fancied up, of course, because he's a heck of a player. All right, let's go on to the next page. Double check anything really brutal that's happening there. How about measure 15? That looks super scary, right? Now, measure 15 has a tiny bit of a challenge. You're playing an E7 chord, but the melody's all the way up on 8s and 7s. So we've got to go put a bar on 7, and then we're going to add this. Now that's an E7 on the 7th fret. Okay, first fret, 7th fret. It's the same chord, okay, but now I can reach my melody notes. The problem is that one of your melody notes is an 8 underneath there, so it's real awkward to get a hold of. I ask you, please. Okay, so that's going to be awkward when you get there, and I'm going to blow it when I get there too. Probably we'll blow it today, tomorrow, and the next day, but we're going to try it. And then also notice in measure 15, you have a chance to do a 3, 5, slide it down and hit this 3, okay? Get a little bit of jazz in there, a little bit of coolness. Whenever you can do a slide